All right, we are back with another governor's prediction. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Bridging the Gap. My name is Alvin. I lean right on most issues, and I'll be representing the Republican side.
My name is Luke. I lean left on most issues, and I'll be representing the Democratic side. Hey guys, so yes, as Alvin mentioned in this video, we'll be giving you our updated bipartisan predictions on the state of the 2026 gubernatorial elections.
All right, so we have already marked a lot of the governor's elections that are coming up. But there's one more that we need to mark just before we get into the competitive races, and that's going to be the usually swing state of Pennsylvania. So, just to jump right in, honestly, we marked every single safe race that we thought would come into play here in 2026, but we intentionally left out Pennsylvania because we know that it's a conventional swing state, and we want to at least talk about it. Incumbent governor Josh Shapiro is basically gonna be just sliding into the governor's mansion yet again for another 4 years unless he decides not to run. And we don't really have any reason to believe that he's not gonna run. On the other hand, on the Republican side, the candidates are also like sub-ideal. Um, yeah, you don't have anyone decent that might run on the Republican side.
Well,
Like, yeah, I don't
I'm
know.
seeing now. I'm seeing well, first before I knew Trump endorsed Dan Mueser, the representative, um, and he declined to run like just this past week. So that was interesting. But now it seems like the Pennsylvania state treasurer is running, and she has won statewide in Pennsylvania before. I don't know her exact margins, but I mean that's not like the worst candidate Republicans can run. Because I believe, yeah, she is a candidate capable of winning statewide. So there's that. I'm still like very hard pressed to believe that Garrity would be able to beat Josh Shapiro because Josh Shapiro is still super popular. And then on top of that, obviously he has proven ability to win in Pennsylvania. But Garrity does perform pretty well. She's like as a statewide candidate. So actually maybe I don't know. I'm not maybe like do we still think solid? I mean, I think she does seem like a pretty good candidate.
I don't know. I still think it's solid. I mean, I don't know why I think you just overrate these low-level statewide winners. I personally don't really see it from Stacey Garrett. She can prove me wrong, if, there is like general election polling, but right now I think if Josh Shapiro decides to run, this is gonna be a slam dunk, especially with backlash in 2026. But
Yeah. I mean, I think the backlash plus Shapiro's ability to win like more moderate
yeah, I
peoples.
don't think these
Yeah.
low
Eh.
level these low level guys. I guess we'll just move over to the other low level guy because we're talking about it. I guess we just quickly move to Iowa because why not? It's sort of in the same bracket here. Iowa here, the incumbent governor Kim Reynolds decided not to run for re-election on the Republican side, leading to a lot of different candidates possible on the Republican side, and it seems as if they are not fielding the best of the best candidates in the possible people. For example, these sort of high level statewide people are deciding not to run, just deciding to run for re-election everywhere. And so, looking at it, maybe Randy Feenstra, the U.S. rep from Iowa's fourth, might be an early potential leader, maybe a Matthew Whitaker if he decides to actually jump out of that ambassador to NATO position. So, it exists that some people are coming in, but I don't know if you want to discuss Rob Sand, your favorite guy, that I personally think is extremely overrated.
Well, Rob Sand is like the only statewide Democrat left in Iowa. And I mean, I don't know. I think it's just interesting in the fact that he's able to consistently win Iowa when Republicans are winning the state by double digits. So I definitely think I mean, he's the best candidate Democrats can run. And I also think the fact that Republicans seem to be opting for like, pretty mid-level candidates, I think just candidate quality wise, Robert Sand is going to be like the highest like quality candidate just objectively. He's a statewide official. Republicans aren't running statewide officials, and obviously it's going to be a bluer year. As I've mentioned in prior videos, like the state that we've been I was have been having a lot of like little special elections in state house and senate districts, and a lot of them they've seen the biggest swing to the left of any districts in the country since 2024. So I think there's definitely a line of hope for Iowa on the governor's level. I also think governors are a little different than senators. They're a little less partisan of a position. And I think with that in mind, I definitely think Iowa could be very competitive next year. I mean, we haven't seen any polling yet, but for now, I would see it anywhere from lean to likely. Like I think it's going to be like right now I have it around
See
like
it.
maybe a 5 point race.
I don't see
Like
it
I
anywhere getting under 5 points right now. So I guess we'll throw some likely right now. This still seems to me like a 8 or 9 point race. Honestly, I don't know. I think you're overrating this Rob
You think
Sand
it's
guy,
only going to
but
swing 4 points from 2024 with
I don't
a
know.
high like
Right
I mean a high
now,
quality Democrat and
I don't
with
know.
the blue wave. I mean, I don't know. I think that's just too much like too much. I think it's going to shift significantly from Harris's margins. That's what I think. Like just
Okay.
candidate quality wise and environment wise. That's
We'll
my
just have to see
what I
when
actually think.
it comes down. Any thoughts about where to go? Maybe Alaska and
Oh,
knock out some of
Alaska,
these
yeah.
more. So let's knock out some of these likely Republican states that are scattered
Yeah.
throughout. You know, start with
Oh,
Iowa.
yeah, Alaska's a state that Trump won pretty handily, 13-point victory. The Republican governor of Alaska, uh, Mike Dunleavy is retiring. So that basically leaves, I believe, his lieutenant governor as the front runner. Um, s- but Democrats still have they have a bench of candidates. The most notable among them is Mary Peltola, the former representative of the state of Alaska. So I reckon yeah, Peltola is definitely the best candidate Democrats can run, and I definitely think she could make this a competitive race. But until then, I definitely like until she announces because we don't know what she's going to announce for. I think she's going to run for something. We don't know if it's going to be House, Senate, or governor. Um, if she runs for governor, it could be very competitive. For now, I think um, it's still going to be like a likely sort of Republican. I think it's going to be obviously it's going to be a slightly bluer environment compared to 2024, but yeah, I think for now, likely ours the place to put the state of Alaska.
Yep. All right. And I think we can quickly move over to Texas as well. Here, Greg Abbott, a longtime strong electoral performer in back-to-back-to-back elections. And it looks like the person that I thought would be the strongest potential candidate on the Democrat side to challenge him, Colin Allred, is looking to run for Senate against it's going to be a much more winnable race for him, even though he does
Hmm.
start as an underdog. That leaves much weaker candidates on the Democrat side to challenge Abbott. You have, for example, like a Joaquin Castro, who is, I think, overhyped. You have Beto O'Rourke, what, three-time loser or four-time loser now? I'm not even sure how many times lost count of how many times he's losing. And personally, just looking at Abbott's electoral history, his margins have gotten weaker in recent years, even in a like sort of
Hmm.
red like ripple year in 2022, relative to 2018. Um, his margins have gotten weaker, but also Texas has sort of turned a corner in terms of the like margins nationally. And if you look at the shifts in 2020 from 2020 to 2024, these southern Hispanic districts are zooming to the right, despite Trump being extremely running extremely hard on immigration. So I don't think much is going to change here. So honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the margins kept shifting in the South. I think this is likely at best for Democrats.
Yeah, I would generally agree. I mean, something interesting to note is Abbott used to regularly overperform when you like obviously governor uh, gubernatorial election years are different than presidential years, but he used to definitely like be one of the strongest candidates in the state, and he still is to some extent. But like relative to the how Trump performed in the state, his performance in 2022 looks less when you compare him to his less good when you compare him to his prior years. He's definitely his margins have been steadily decreasing year by year by year. I think I happen to believe in a bluer sort of environment, it's going to continue to decrease, and I definitely think he's going to do worse than he did in 2022. Um, so I think that'll be just enough to knock him into a likely margin either way. I think no matter what, Abbott is definitely favored in Texas. Um, so yeah. Next, I think from there we could probably go to New Hampshire.
Yeah, I'll just finish
New
these
Hampshire's
out. Yeah.
Yeah, finish out all the likely R states. So yeah, New Hampshire is also like looking like it's going to be likely Republican, just because Kelly Ayotte, the Republican governor, has been consistently maintaining her popularity. She won pretty big in 2024 for a state that Trump lost. She won by like 9 points. Um, and it looks like she doesn't have like the Democrats don't have like a terribly strong bench against her, and she's maintaining pretty high approval ratings. So taking all that together, I think Kelly Ayotte is, I think she's on track to kind of just cruise to re-election here. I think it's going to be likely our. I mean, obviously, I think it's going to be. It's not going to be enough for her to get it to solid, just because I just don't. Just because of how blue the year is going to be. I think there's definitely going to be a shift left in the backlash to Trump. Um, but I don't think it's enough to win her by for her to win it by a pretty good margin.
Yeah, honestly, I sort of disagree of like the last part. Honestly, I think this could go into solid. I'm not
It
ready to
could.
put it there because there isn't any polling, but I mean, look, you're getting a much weaker Democrat challenger compared to 2024. You know, Joyce Craig, of course, being the mayor of Manchester, um, that's the biggest city in New Hampshire, if I'm not mistaken. So also, if you look at like New Hampshire and how you're gonna have a incumbent governor now, who they seem to love in prior years, honestly, this could go into solid if I got like one good poll for her. But for now,
Yeah,
we'll keep it
actually,
into
that's
likely.
fair for now,
Yeah,
likely,
just
but
just
it definitely could go into solid.
one good pull for her, and it's going there. So that's sort of how I'm seeing it, especially with how highly educated it is, how they definitely will be thinking about ticket splitting on the Senate side. So yeah. Anyways, I guess we should definitely move into the Democrat
Hmm.
likelies, which
I think
probably
Minnesota.
Minnesota. Okay.
Yeah, like. Mhm.
Basically no updates on Minnesota. Yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, I think Tim Walz is look like I mean he looks like he might run for a third term as governor, which is definitely possible. There's I mean there's a slew of Democratic statewide officials in Minnesota, so Democrats have plenty of people to run. Um, and I do think yeah, if Tim Walz is just like he's probably fine. He's like I think he obviously has a name recognition in the state, being a former vice presidential candidate. So Democrats will be fine with running with him. Republicans, it's more of a question of who they put up. I'm not sure. Like I've heard whispers of Mike Lindell, which would be an immediate loss for Republicans, like the conspiracy theorist, like who pushed a lot of the 2020 fraud claims. He's kind of a joke nowadays. They might run like I think Scott Jensen. Scott Jensen's probably the best Republican candidate. They ran him in 2022. He didn't even do that great that year, though. Honestly, this one's like borderline solid for me. I could definitely see just Tim Walz winning by double digits. Like I don't know. Like I'll put it where you want to
Yeah.
put it, but I think the Republicans don't really have a good candidate here, and it's just yeah. I think it's going to be enough to push it into solid blue, based on the look of it at least.
Honestly, maybe right now it does honestly go there. Oops, definitely not Wisconsin. Yeah, I think we can put it there for now, just because of the candidate quality. Although maybe that means we should do the same for New Hampshire at this point. I don't know. I'm sort of talking myself into doing it in New Hampshire now that I'm talking about this.
You know what?
But
I guess let's do it for New Hampshire also. I think New Hampshire, if there's
yeah,
enough ticket
these,
splitting, that it'll
yeah,
happen.
yeah,
Fair
exactly.
enough.
So yeah, these sort
Fair
of
enough.
are parallel races. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
thinking
Strong
about it, and
incumbents. Yeah.
honestly, these. I mean, I don't know if Wall's the strongest incumbent.
He's
I
not.
don't think he's
Yeah.
not anywhere close to Kelly Ayotte. But he is definitely if he's good enough, I think, and the Republicans are
Yeah.
running absolutely no one. Maybe if Scott Jensen or someone comes back from the dead.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's sort of where I'm at right now. So I guess I'll move to Michigan now, where okay, look, Michigan Republicans, we've been getting cooked in Michigan recently, and I don't have much hope again for the future. Jocelyn Benson looks like she's running away with the nomination here.
Yeah.
She's the Secretary of State. Unfortunately for Garland Gilchrist, she's getting rejected by Minnesota Democrats, so that's quite unfortunate for her. And also, if you look at the Michigan Senate race, that one's also much more interesting. This one on the Democrat primary side, kind of dead. Then on the Republican side, okay, look, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. John James is,
It's probably gonna be James, I think.
yeah, he is probably there. He's leading the primary polling. Thankfully, no Tudor Dixon, but John James is a strong candidate. He does win swing districts. He is a solid person. He's been put up for Senate multiple times. I don't know. He's a two-time loser, which I'm never liking. But what complicates things here is Mike Duggan, who's the mayor of Detroit. He's
Hmm.
obviously a Democrat, being the mayor of Detroit, which is very, very blue. And he definitely could pull a lot. This is probably the strongest I've seen in terms of like a third party challenge in this cycle. I haven't seen one this strong maybe since like Oregon 2022. And I think this is the type of person that he's definitely going to decline. He's definitely going to go down, but
Yeah.
he might go down to 10% maybe. I don't know if he's gonna fall too much though, actually. Being a very strong mayor. Yeah, this one might be like a lean D for me. I don't know. I don't think it's likely for me.
I mean, I'm still inclined to put in likely. Why? I mean, we both know third party candidates usually are by the time we get to election day, they're not they're pulling at practically nothing. So while Mike Duggan may look strong now, like, oh, he's getting 20% of the vote, he's running in an independent lane. Over time, they quickly run out of money. The focus goes on the two major candidates, and they're at nothing. And that's what we see again and again when independents run in these sorts of races. So I imagine he's going to decline to like single digits. And I think with the as blue as the year is going to be, and also Jocelyn Benson just being an insane candidate, she was like the best statewide candidate Democrats ran in 2022. She overperformed Gretchen Whitmer by like 4 points, I believe, for her Secretary of State position. I think it's going to. I mean, John James is a good Republican candidate, but I'm still leaning toward it going toward like likely D, like likely Democrat. I think she'll just be fine. But I don't know. I think
Yeah, I
likely
don't
blue,
know.
but there's a lot of
Maybe. I
uncertainty.
mean, yeah, because I mean, if you look at 2022, Tudor Dixon just abysmal candidate here in general. John James is going to be a big upgrade, of course. I would say, okay,
Yes.
like Jocelyn Benson's going to be around the same quality as Gretchen Whitmer, which is obviously A to S tier. John James, a major upgrade from like an F tier to an A tier. And you also have Mike Duggan. And of course, the year is going to be different, but it seems like Michigan's starting to vote to the right of Wisconsin, even like on national level. It's fine though. I mean, we could keep it unlikely.
I mean, it might get closer over time, but we'll see.
Yeah,
I
personally,
I, I
okay,
think
we personally, I would like to put it in lean, and then if Mike Duggan starts receding, that's when we move it into likely as a sort of picture of right now.
mhm.
But
I'm operating on what I think will happen on election day, and I think by
okay,
election day, Duggan will be out, like basically pulling at nothing. Um,
all right,
okay, where
it's
do we want to
whatever
go
for
from
now.
here?
Probably Ohio.
Oh yeah, yeah. Actually,
For
that's fair.
me, just yeah, just go to Ohio. Which,
Should I talk
yeah,
about
I
that
don't
or?
know. Yeah, you can do it.
So in the state of Ohio, we have a Republican superstar running. We have Vivek Ramaswamy with the Trump endorsement running for governor of Ohio. Vivek's interesting. Like he was part of that Elon Musk's Doge, and he kind of got out of Dodge before it, kind of collapsed, and that whole Elon Musk feud arose. So, now he's running for governor of Ohio. He's going to easily win the primary. Like I believe the Republican Attorney General was running, and he dropped out of the race just because he knew Vivek was just going to overwhelm him. Vivek is an interesting part of the right. Like he's like this new techie sort of right. It often clashes with the more populist, traditional sort of Republicans. The more nativist Republican factions that I think dominate in Ohio. So I'm not sure how good of a fit he'll be for the state, but he'll definitely win the primary. Democrats right now are running Amy Acton, who is basically like the Dr. Fauci of the state of Ohio back during the COVID era, like the Ohio Department of Health. I know she got gained some notoriety during that, but she's not like the best candidates Democrats could run. The Democrats are going to be mainly looking at Tim Ryan, who ran for Senate. He lost, but he's like a B tier candidate they can run. And the real one Democrats are looking at is Sherrod Brown, the former U.S. Senator, who's obviously won in the state before. He held the U.S. Senate until just this past year, 2024, where he lost by 3 points. So yeah, that's basically what Democrats are going to be waiting for. Does Sherrod Brown get in the race? I've been hearing some indications, like reading news articles and stuff, that he looks like he wants to try running for office again, and he's probably going to run for governor over any other race. So that could definitely make it really close. But for now, I think without Sherrod Brown definitively in the race, it's likely R. Sorry, that's a lot of speaking, but that's my take.
Yeah, yes, me as well. I think honestly, you just have to wait for Sherrod. He's the big overperformer in 2024. Overperformed by what? What was it, like eight or something in the state? I don't remember the exact specifics. Um,
7, I think.
Seven, okay, close enough.
Seven
I
or
mean,
eight. 7 or 8,
honestly,
actually.
yeah, it might have been seven, it might have been eight, but regardless, Sherrod Brown, big of a performer and much better fit for the state um, than someone else. So, anyways, regardless, let's move on. I think we definitely want to zoom in on these final four. Maybe we just go to Wisconsin, just finish off the Rust Belt here while we're in the
Yeah.
region, and then we'll just move to the Sun Belt. Wisconsin here. Definitely still just waiting on Tony Evers on the Dem side. Don't really know what's taking him so long, but regardless, he would definitely be the best candidate on the Dems. Obviously, he's the incumbent. Republicans sort of also just waiting. I think some of them are honestly waiting to see if Evers is jumping out.
Yeah.
Because if Evers jumps out, that makes this race a lot more winnable, and that, then someone like Tom Tiffany would be more likely to jump in, or like Eric Hovde, who's strong as well. So yeah, you're just definitely gonna have to wait. I don't think I'm moving my. There's no new information. I think we just put it. I think we put it what, lean D. That's sort of just where I'm at right now. Just lean D until
Yeah,
further notice.
I mean, if Evers runs, then I think it'll go to likely D, and the Democrats will like likely Democratic, and I think he'll just win. But if he doesn't run for election, I guess we'll just then in
Yeah,
that case
bad
it'll be
Dem
like,
plus good Republican equals it
yeah,
gets
it's like
killed. Yeah. So
it's like wait and see how good, like that candidate is. So like
no
for
point in
now,
wasting
will we wait
time.
and
Yeah.
see? Yeah, yeah, lean D. Um, okay,
Okay,
where would you say we want to go
let's go
to
to
next?
maybe Arizona. I think you should go Arizona.
Oh yeah, Arizona. Okay. Arizona, we have Katie Hobbs, the incumbent Democratic governor. It looks like it's highly likely she's going to run for re-election. And she's pretty solid. I think. I mean, she's in a pretty heavily Trumpy state. Like Trump, like if Arizona voted for Trump by like 5 points, she won by a very narrow margin in 2022. In a reddish sort of year. So I think in a bluish sort of year with incumbency, I think she'll just be sort of fine. Um, Republicans are running. both Andy Biggs, who's a representative, one of the more controversial representatives, I believe, and Karen Taylor Robinson, who's more traditional, sort of, more of a traditional Republican. I think she tried running for governor and lost to Carrie Lake in the primary. Trump, Trump gave him a joint endorsement, but I feel like MAGA just prefers Biggs more, and Andy Biggs has a closer connection with the MAGA sort of base. He's like an okay candidate overall. He'll probably end up being the nominee, but I think Katie Hobbs will just end up winning, and I'd probably put it lean D. Like it's a swingy state in a bluish year with an incumbent Democratic governor. All that together leans toward the Democrats.
Yeah, correct. Andy Biggs probably a slight upgrade over Carrie Lake. Never seen someone
Yeah.
perform that. I've never seen someone throw that many races than Carrie Lake. Honestly, uh, one of the best people to come into the political spotlight for Democrats because one of the worst candidates for Republicans in recent memory. But yeah, finally she's stopped trying. That's great. Andy Biggs probably going to take over here. But yeah, the problem with Arizona is Republicans can't seem to just get normal candidates because if they did, they would probably have won
Yeah.
half of these races. You saw in 2024 that once you get like I know Trump technically isn't like a standard Republican, but electorally, he's a strong Republican, and he's +5. He's making this a likely state. You just need to get someone that doesn't underperform this guy by 5 points, and Ruben Gallego is not a senator. So that's the problem. But they're doing it again because apparently there's enough MAGAs that you're never gonna, get a good person into like I don't know, like Juan Ciscomani or something into this candidacy, and then that they would probably have made this race 50-50 or something. But nope. Um, it is what it is.
Hmm.
Andy Biggs is in striking distance in the polling. And I do think he'd be better than Karen Taylor Robson, honestly, in a general, because you actually do need to turn out the MAGA base. But the problem with Arizona is is still a lot of like old McCain types so it is what it is. But regardless, moving to its neighbor is a better story for our side because Joe Lombardo is a popular incumbent governor and he has some centrist tendencies. Sort of has to because he's working with a Democrat legislature. But regardless, he is going to be doing very well. Aaron Ford is a strong challenger from the Democrats. He's the attorney general, and
Yeah.
Democrats do control a lot of the statewide offices. So, but it looks like they're clearing the field for him. Regardless, though, maybe if Steve Sisolak runs, though, okay, maybe some stuff changes. But regardless, I think Lombardo is sort of cruising here. I know it's a
Mm.
bad year, but he's a popular governor that generally can help stem the bleeding. Probably lean to maybe Till if so you're so inclined, but definitely in the
I
Republicans' direction.
for now, I put it lean R because yes, you're correct. Lombardo is pretty popular in the state of Nevada. Democrats do have a good candidate, but I think we're going to need more information, see how the race evolves, more polling. Yeah, I think we have to wait and see a little bit more with this race. But for now, just taking the like with the preliminary look, I think Lombardo's favored. And then our last race here, we have the state of Georgia, where the quite popular incumbent Republican governor Brian Kemp is retiring, or I'm not sure if he's forced to retire or is doing it willingly, but either way, he's not running
He's
for
term
election.
limited. Yeah.
Yeah. So right now, on the Republican side, you have the Georgia Attorney General and the Georgia Lieutenant Governor, both in the Republican primary already. There's some whispers that maybe Marjorie Taylor Greene, the very very MAGA conspiracy theorist representative, could jump in and make that race a little more crazy. But for now, I mean, the Republicans have some pretty solid candidates. Either like Chris Carr, the Attorney General, or Burt Jones, the Lieutenant Governor, like they've won statewide before. You know, maybe they could paint themselves as a continuation of Brian Kemp. On the Democratic side, it's a little bit more crazy. Right now,
A lot
the
more.
most notable Dem currently in the race is the former Atlanta mayor, Keisha Lance Bottoms. But the more interesting candidates that could potentially get in the race, Stacey Abrams, who's lost running for Georgia governor 2 times in the past. She has gotten it close-ish before. And Lucy McBath, a representative who's represented like large swaths of the Georgia suburbs, just because Georgia changes its congressional map so often. I think there was also talk of the former Republican lieutenant governor, Jeff Duncan, potentially running as a Democrat. So it could be lieutenant governor against lieutenant governor. Like both of Kemp's lieutenant governors could be running against each other. There's a chance that happens as well. Anyway, there's a lot of potential variables in this race. Ultimately, I think even with the pretty good Republican candidates, I still think it'll tilt toward the direction of the Democrats. Why? The Atlanta suburbs have been very consistently moving left, even in 2024, that very, very red year where Trump dominated. We saw that Atlanta area just like you see like continue to move left. That combined with a bluer sort of year, I think that'll just be enough to push the Dem over the top. Um, but yeah, that's my take. What do you think?
I don't know. My take is that if Democrats could put someone decent up, yes, I totally agree. I would even probably put this into lean Democrat. However, currently, I don't think any of these candidates are capable of beating a strong Republican statewide official, especially when you can see that consistently Georgia voters have been willing to ticket split and put Republicans into the statewide offices while keeping Democrats into senator and keeping, you know, splitting their tickets just for Republicans for governor.
Hmm.
And the problem here is that I think every single candidate here is weak for the Democrats. If there was someone just standard, like a standard U.S. rep, maybe, or I don't know, just like anyone decent, this is a very weak bench for me. And I don't think Jeff Duncan is going to win this primary. I just don't see it possible. He still identifies as being a Republican. It's just that, the Republicans kicked him out of the party. He's like might run as a Democrat just to like get back into politics, but like it seems like a gimmick that Democrats won't really like. So I don't know. Honestly, I'm like growing stronger actually that I think Democrats will win. Not Republicans will win. I think it's actually lean R in my opinion now. Might be a bit controversial. I guess maybe that means it's a tilt R in
Yeah,
the
yeah, we could put in
compromise
Tiltar.
scale.
I I
But
I could
yeah,
see
this is
Republicans like I mean I'm highly skeptical that this is like who the Democrats are going to end up running, like the declared candidates. I think either Stacey Abrams or McBath are going to jump in, and they're better candidates.
yeah,
Like
I don't know. I don't
my
know.
hunch is just that like it's going to, and honestly, like even with the Democrats who they currently have, it's not terrible, terrible. Like mayor of Atlanta is not like the worst you can have running in the state of Georgia. But yes, like the Republicans do have good candidates. That it's a definitely significant probability that they can still hold it out. Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm okay with the tilt R overall. Like I
Yeah,
think that's fine. But
regardless, this is sort of the
yeah,
final map. Yeah, so
yes.
19 to 17. I don't think any like changes except like in terms of the actual raw count, but we did make a few races more solid here. We're getting a little more confident on our projections in some states with just how the candidate fielding is going.
Hmm.
That's sort of going to be the state of the game for the next few months. We're going to, as we move into late 2025 into early 2026, that's when our ratings will start substantially changing, I think, and where we might have to start doing monthly predictions. Right now, sort of every 3 months or so is like the pace because not much is happening, but soon, maybe some big declarations will
Yeah.
be coming in
Yeah,
Wisconsin
this
or
year,
Georgia. Yeah, kind of slow.
yeah. Yeah, this year is just going to be like the candidates declaring like whether or not they want to run, whether they're going to run for something else. And as we get that sort of information, that's like going to be the main, I should say, the main chunk of information we're going to be getting this year. Most of the polling is just going to be next year, and then we can there'll be a more of an evolving picture.
Yeah, some
Yeah,
side info, of course, is also the Trump approval. Like, if he starts losing more confidence, which seems like he might, honestly, this, recent scandals that we might have to talk about on this channel, um, which I don't know, might get us demonetized, but
of
like
course.
this sort of like, yeah, like he might be honestly falling out of favor, like Trump. It is a little less going to affect the gubernatorial races relative to like the Senate, but. Yeah, so this is like the side polling. He recovered from his worst, but he might be going back up. So we'll be seeing like
Yeah, lots
if
of tariffs
Trump
going back
if
into
Trump
effect.
yeah,
I
well
hear
we'll
talk
see what
about.
I mean, we don't even know if they're going to go into effect, man. It always like there's always like a backing out. It's whatever, man. I think
Taco vibes. Yeah.
you guys tried to launch the taco. It didn't really catch on, but regardless, we're gonna definitely keep you guys updated. So thanks so much for watching. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed. Comment down below any future video suggestions and subscribe if you're new. Thanks for watching, guys.
See you guys.